Hi YouTube, welcome back for another video by the Happy Woodworker. We're starting a new project today, and the project is going to be a bread box. I hope that my camera is picking up my plans. I started off just by looking at a bunch of different pictures, deciding what I wanted. That is the front view, and I've also done a side view. And because I always make things complicated on myself, I laid out the template backwards to the drawing. So I have started cutting. I decided I wanted to have a template for the outside as well as the inside, curves and edges. So I am going to demonstrate to you guys how to do this before it's over with, but I started off with a 1/4 inch sheet of MDF. I put in my outside edge, and then this is going to be the routed out slot. And unlike most other bread boxes you're going to see, I decided I did not want to have just one curve. I've got a little piece of wood that's going to stick up in the back here and hide the back side of the door. So this is actual size. This is our template, and like I said, I decided I wanted a template just in case I have to make any more of these. I am debating with myself as to how I'm going to assemble this, because what I want to do is a little bit beyond the skill level of a beginning woodworker. So you guys may get 2 demonstrations on how to assemble this, one for beginners and one that's slightly more advanced. I've designed this to have sliding dovetails down at the bottom and up at the top. And I am going to demonstrate to you how I did the curves when I do the template for the path I have to cut with the router. So, but to give you a clue, I have hole drilled here, and I used my square, which has this little tiny notch down in the corner. I put a screw in that, and then lined up my pencil to a measurement, and as I rotate the square, I make my curve. So that's how that was done. Today we're starting this project. I'm just going to cut the template down to size and get rid of all the excess material over on this side. And sorry, I can't zoom out anymore. I started zoomed in, so it won't allow me to zoom out. So I'm going to reset the camera again. That way you guys get to watch me cut the template down. And when we come back, we'll start cutting up some boards, some lumber, and I'm going to do this the complicated way instead of using a solid board to do most of this, which you could do, or I've got some real nice plywood that I could trim it out in. I'm going to actually glue boards together using biscuits, just so you get the demonstration, and it's going to be a fun project. So come on back and watch the next section, and I hope you guys enjoy. So here we go, YouTube. We're about to cut our template, or make the first cut on our template on our table saw. Again, I have safety girds removed so that you guys get to see the action, but I strongly encourage you to always use your guards and safety things that come with your tools. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a side view angle here. I'm going to find some hearing protection. I'm going to double check my blade height. I think I'm where I want to be. And we're going to get ready to cut this through. You guys know the old saying, measure twice, cut once? Well, we're going to be measure twice, cut twice here. I noticed that I was coming awfully close into my curve. This line is not important. I changed the dimensions on my design, so it's actually here that I want it to be. When I measured, I set the distance to this side of my blade instead of this side. So I've got about an extra 1/8 of an inch cut right here that I don't want. So I'm going to resize this and come back, and we're going to cut this correctly so that my blade is on this side of the cut. Be right back. So sometimes all it takes is the width of your kerf. The kerf, by the way, for those of you that are new to this, is the amount of wood that your blade takes out. Mine is about an 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes that's all it takes to mess up a project. And I like to be a little more precise than that, so I reset my blade there. Sometimes it's important for you to see that even good woodworkers that have done this for 20 years occasionally goof something. So you get to see one of my goofs there, but I caught it before it actually did anything important. And now we're going to continue, and I'm going to recut this, and we'll see what happens. That looks better. I'm going to have to be particularly careful about this since I've already got a cut in here. Now, for demonstration purposes, I wanted to stop that and give you a good look of where that's cutting now. See if I can get the camera closer. I'm going to move it, bear with me. Do you guys see the difference it makes on the blade cut depending on where you measure to, which side of the blade you're measuring to? That's quite a bit of cut in that particular blade. So that's why I reset, because when I got down here to the bottom, I knew I was going to cut right into where I didn't want to cut. So I'm going to come down right next to that cut, which is where I am now. So now I'm going to reset, continue the cut. I do not recommend for a new woodworker that you stop a table saw right in the middle of your cut. That's not really a healthy thing to do. Just so you know. Let's zoom back out so you get the full view. Sometimes we do things on camera we wouldn't ordinarily do, just to demonstrate things. See the difference? That time I measured correctly and I was right on the line. So measure twice, cut once. Don't cut twice. It'll make your life a lot happier. So I'm going to do one more cut on this piece. We're going to have to turn this sideways. Let me zoom back out a little bit just to get it out of the way. I'm going to cut along my top line and just get that out of there. So let me reset my table saw for that. How's my camera angle now? Let me have a look. I think you guys can see. We'll zoom in a little more just for fun. Here we go. Pull back from the blade first. you're going to leave a piece of wood next to the blade. You must be very careful that it's not going to kick back on you. Just something I thought I'd point out. Like I said, sometimes we do things on camera we wouldn't ordinarily do, just so that you get a good demonstration of what's going on. So my template is cut. Next I have to take that to the bandsaw to cut the curves. And you will get to see me do that. We'll just come in with a bandsaw blade, come right around this outside line and up, and we'll go from there. So I hope you've enjoyed this little segment on the table saw with the Happy Woodworker. Doing our bread box build today. And I've got a few other videos coming up here that you guys are going to want to see over the next few months. I've got a couple really interesting builds that I don't think you're going to find anywhere else on YouTube. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Howdy YouTube. Welcome back to the Happy Woodworker. Today we are continuing on with our bread box build. We're back on the bandsaw and we are going to cut out the rest of our template. So follow along and watch as we cut our template. That's as far as I can go in that direction. I have a 12-inch piece and a 9-inch bandsaw, so we're going to reverse directions and come at it from the other way. Also, when operating a bandsaw, allow your blade to stop completely before you pull back on the blade. That's an extra safety precaution just to make sure that you don't pull the blade out. And there you go. As you can see, paper fell down off my shelf. My air filters are going, rattling things around. If something like that happens, don't get in the way or reach for it or shove it out of the way. Your hands are not worth a piece of paper or whatever else has distracted you. I like it when things like that happen on camera because it makes a good demonstration of what not to do. So I've got to clean my cut up just a little bit. If I can zoom out for you here. But you get the idea. That is going to be the general shape of my bread box. I'm going to put a little drawer in the top. That's what that top section is for. Continuing on with our bread box build, you guys have never seen me pull out the old belt and disc sander, so I thought this would be a good time and example. I've got a couple little rough spots here and there that I just didn't want to put back over the bandsaw, so I'm going to use the disc on this to even those out. And if we did that correctly, what I think we have, I'll have a perfectly rounded edge. I'm right on my line. But anyway, there we go. We have sanded down and rounded our edges. And now we are ready to cut some lumber and start templating things. So we'll see you when we come back to do that.